You know, I say that, and Charizard's so bad, man. I'm putting it in fair. It's so bad. It's so bad. Name one game where Charizard's good. I can't think of one. Pokemon Snap, fair. I'm going to rank the final form of every Pokemon in the Kanto region. It's going to be a 3 bullet point basis. First of all, it's going to be what are they good at individually, like just like what's their skill set. Second, how good are they throughout the Kanto region specifically? And then third, how good are they overall? And that will help determine our rankings. It's going to be arbitrary. I'm just going to kind of make it up as I go, but I like renaming my my scale a little bit here, so I'm gonna get after that. This is the terrible tier. If I get this encounter, I am pretty upset about it. One niche, versatile, fair, and sweeper. Sweet. These are our tiers. Our S tier is sweeper. I probably could just keep it S tier, but let's sink our teeth in here. So we'll start out with the starters, probably, unless we want to work our way back. You know what? Let's work our way back. Let's start at the very end and work our way back, just because these 3 starters are so cool and interesting, and I think it'd be fun to end with them as opposed to starting with them. So let's start with Mew here. Now in a Nuzlocke, you're not really going to get access to Mew most of the time. But what is Mew good for? Mew can learn every single move. It's pretty, I mean, versatile is the word for it, you know? The only thing is its accessibility is so low. I mean, you'll have some ROM hacks that let you get access to it, but it's, yeah, usually you're not getting your hands on it. In the Kanto region, it's great, obviously. Psychic types dominate that region. And then overall, honestly, it's not that good of a Pokemon. Like I said, it's probably gonna go into versatile here. It would never go in sweeper to me just because Mew's stats are so 100 base stat total in every category just doesn't hold up over time. In Gen 1, that's great. In Gen 2, that's fine. And I don't know. I feel like by the time you get to Gen 3, Gen 4, it starts to really fall backwards a little bit. So I'm gonna go versatile here. Not the best Pokemon just because of its availability and its stat spread, but definitely interesting and fun to use if you get the opportunity to. I've never seen Mewtwo in a run ever. I don't know. I don't know anything about this Pokemon. Actually, I did get to use it in Mythic Silver, I guess, where all of the Pokemon were legendaries. It was fine. That said, they were all legendaries. If you get it, great. I mean, this is again, one of the best. It was the best Pokemon in Generation 1. It was the best Pokemon, wasn't even close. So I guess it goes in versatile. It probably goes in sweeper, but it really does fall off once you get to later gens. I feel like to put something in sweeper, I'm gonna need something that like is great across all generations. And because of its psychic typing, it goes from one of the best Pokemon to just abysmal. I'm not tackling the megas. Dragonite. Dragonite's really fun. It's not perfect. If I remember correctly, if you're gonna use its dragon typing, you either have to click Outrage or Dragon Rush. I guess you can get Dragon Pulse, but I don't believe it's as good of a special attacker as it is a physical attacker. So then you sacrifice some juice. All of this guy's moves kind of suck. And then for flying moves, it's what? Fly, which is inaccurate. Wing attack. I guess when it gets dual wing beat, it gets a little bit better, but that move doesn't come around until later. If we're talking about in Generation 1, it's pretty good. And if you can give it some EVs, it's definitely usable and could potentially sweep maybe Drake or Lance, I guess. It's Lance. Those are the same trainer in my head. But still, it's, you know, it's funny because Dragonite, I'm not scared of seeing on my opponent's team, but I actually do like having it on my team, especially when it gets Roost in Generation 4. I'm going to put it in versatile. Its base stat spread is just really, not spread. Its base stat total is just really high, making it really bulky and valuable. Anytime you get this in a run, you're going to want to bring this to the Elite Four. It just does a whole bunch of stuff. Don't send it in against ice moves, but like just don't, like obviously. What dragon moves even exist before Generation 4? Outrage? So you could have special attacking outrage, I guess. Oh, you can get Dragon Claw too. 80 base power Dragon Claw. Dude, they did dragons dirty. Ew. Again, I'm putting it here just because it is versatile, but let's go down here. Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. We'll rank them. Moltres. Dude, I feel like Moltres isn't that good. What am I supposed to do with this guy? I guess his base stat's high, so there's that. It's a fire flying type. Like, I guess I put it here. I don't know. I just feel like fire and flying doesn't match up well against like any Elite Fours in any games. I feel like that typing falls apart. Whereas I feel like Zapdos is really, really good. Actually, Zapdos might go into sweeper. Yeah, because if you get Zapdos, electric types perform incredibly well in like every generation, Elite Four wise. This might be the first Pokemon that I rank higher than all these guys. I just think Zapdos is that good. These are Pokemon without a ton of availability though, so I'm gonna drop it to versatile, just kind of like I did with the other two here. There's no sense in putting it in, oh, like it's one of the best Pokemon to get when you can't get it. And then Articuno, you know, also is gonna go in fair here. Does some stuff if you get it. Does some stuff if you get it, but. All right, Snorlax. Snorlax is not a sweeper. He's incredibly versatile. I mean, this is what this tier was made for, I feel. You know, this is a Pokemon that can sit in on anything. It's not going to check more than like 2 to 3 Pokemon in a fight, so you can't put it in sweeper. But being able to check 2 to 3 Pokemon in a fight is incredible. I can't overstate how valuable having access to rest, having access to that bulk is. You know, it's a more special defensive mon than a physical defensive mon, but that doesn't mean that its physical defense is nada. It's pretty good. It can survive a punch. I like Snorlax a lot. I think that's the right spot for it. Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl might go in sweeper. My rock slide king. Is its typing good enough to justify putting it in sweeper? I don't know that it does enough stuff. And then rock slide only hits for 75 base power. And then flying moves are doo-doo. So I'm going to put it in versatile. It's a very, very good mon. That is just an incredible mon. You know, that speed does wonders. And then rock slide flinch is always a bailout whenever you need it. I feel comfortable putting in versatile. It was one of my first picks in the Alpharad draft race because it is so deadly at doing whatever it wants. Also, like if you get this early, like it's a 500 base that Pokemon that's just gross. So Kabutops, might drop this to fair. It's not fast enough for me to say that it's, yeah, I mean, it's good. It checks some stuff. It doesn't check a ton of stuff. Definitely got a fun typing, convenient for baiting out grass type moves. With Swift Swim, it does numbers in the rain. It doesn't really have anything that hits that hard. In generations 1 through 3, it only has access to what, Surf is its best water move, and it's a special attack. Kabutops is a physical attacker, so that doesn't really work out for it. So you're really betting on rock moves, and rock moves again were crap until generation. Honestly, they're just crap. They're not great. So it does do stuff in Run and Bun. If we're looking at it through the context of ROM hacks, like, yeah, like Kabutops is a great pickup in Run and Bun. You can take normal type attacks, which is super valuable. Actually, that's super valuable in all games. And Swift Swim comes in handy. I believe this guy can get shell armor. Yeah. So I definitely like it. I'm excited to get it. I'm happy with getting a Kabutops. I'm excited to be a little bit strong. There's something about the niche that Omastar fills that is different than Kabutops that I think makes it better. And I'm gonna put it in versatile. And I know that it's silly because they're two sides of the same coin. But hear me out. The ability to effectively use Surf, Ice Beam, and Power Gem makes this guy disgusting. The special attack of Omastar carries so hard. I mean, it's so good. It's so strong. Kabutops doesn't have that luxury because physical attacking rock moves. I mean, you can get head smash, I guess. Being able to hit as hard special attacking wise, I just think Omastar does more throughout the games. Also, those ice beams are blistering. I'm thinking about Lance's Dragonites and what Omastar can do to them. Porygon, we'll pretend this is Porygon Z, one niche. Some people like Porygon. I don't. I don't. I remember, I think I was listening to a False Swipe Gaming video where they talked about Porygon's niche in the competitive scene. And the basic idea with it was, yeah, you can check one thing with Porygon, whatever version. I don't know if it's Porygon 2 or Porygon Z. But you can basically go eye for eye with Porygon, and that's the fundamental use of it. And that's great. That's really cool. That doesn't help in a Nuzlocke. That's so utterly useless. So one niche, it can kill something and die, I guess. I don't... Is that a niche? Is that... I feel bad. I don't want it to die. So yeah, I think that's probably the appropriate place to put it. Okay, so now we have the Eeveelutions. They probably all go in different spots. Flareon... Dude, I feel like fire types just don't perform well in like any games. I think the reason for that is because they include all of the types that fire types does well against in early game. I guess steel types, you could say, oh, like it does a lot against it. I'm going to put it in one niche. You know, I'm going to change this to kind of bad. Yeah, this is not good. PvP mons, yeah, just guys that can take out one, maybe. This guy gets like no moves, by the way, in like generation 1, 2, and 3. It's just like it's got like it has flamethrower, but it's not a special attacker, so it doesn't matter. Just kind of a Garbomon. By the time it gets to generation 4, though, like it's just outclassed. It's not good anymore. Why would I use Flareon when I have Infernape, you know? Jolteon, accessible, fast, strong, sweeper, incredible, just an incredible mon. Holds up throughout other games too. Whatever game you can get Jolteon in, that is a mon that you can count on. Comes with an immunity, just cause. Oh, wonderful mon. That I'm very confident in saying that is easily the best Nuzlocke mon you could have of the ones that are here right now. Yeah, that's glorious. Vaporeon, it's good. It's probably going in versatile here. It can take a hit. It's got good special attack. Probably 1v1s like anything and survives just fine. Might be able to take out 2 things, has an immunity. I do like it in a Nuzlocke context. I'm never choosing it over Jolteon though, so I don't know. There's just so many water types. I might even bump this down. There are so many good water types. I've never ever brought Vaporeon to anything, because why would I choose Vaporeon over literally any other water type? It's fine. It's just, I could have had this guy. I'll put it in versatile. I'll put it in versatile because it is that good. It's just, I'm never intentionally getting it, and to get it, I have to have intention. All right. Ditto is, what am I supposed to do with this guy? Lapras probably goes in versatile. Yeah, it's another mon that I would choose over Vaporeon. I don't know how else to put it. It's got an immunity. It's not a sweeper. I don't think it's not fast enough. It's not defensive enough either, just because of its ice typing, but it's good. This is a good mon. It usually tanks at least one super effective attack, which is nice. Being able to tank one super effective attack is more than a lot of Pokemon can say. So Gyarados, this thing gets Dragon Dance just cause. An Ice Fang, an Aqua Tail. My God, easily one of the best Nuzlocke mons of all time. Not putting this in sweeper, I think, would be Tauros. Tauros has some specific niches in generation 1. I don't know that it doesn't hold up. You'd much rather have a whole bunch of other normal types. You can bring it to Gen 2's Elite Four as well. It does okay in HGSS. I like Tauros. I'm gonna put it in fair. I don't think it's versatile enough to put it in versatile here, just because it's not. There are better normal types that I would rather bring. Pinsir. Has anybody ever used Pinsir for anything? Am I being a hater? I don't even know where I can get Pinsir in any games. I can't think of one game in which I can get Pinsir and then use it. And even if I could, what would I do with it? Megahorn? You want me risking it all on 85% accurate Megahorn? No thanks. It's a Pinsir. Oh my god, Magmar. I mean, Magmar will go here. No, Magmar's gonna go in kind of bad. Why would I use Magmar when I have literally any other fire type? I might prefer Flareon. Straight up. Magmar's so bad. It dies to everything. Now, Electabuzz, that's a Pokemon. I'm putting it in versatile. If you don't have Jolteon and you don't have Zapdos, on the off chance you don't have Zapdos, I feel like Electabuzz is you know, fast, strong. I mean, that's a good mon. That's a good mon. Electivire goes crazy, but that's a good mon. Dude, Jynx is gross. Jynx is gross. It's fast. Fast with Stab Ice Beam. Gross. I think you just like electric mons. I do like electric mons, but I want to be like abundantly clear that I'm saying within a Nuzlocking context which Pokemon are valuable, and certain types are more valuable in Nuzlocks than others. I find that electric types are so valuable. Ice types and electric types throughout all gens, by the way. There's no generation in which ice types aren't super valuable in the Elite Four. There's always some dragon taming Elite Four member that can't rock with Jynx. And there's usually some late game water type trainer that can't hack it with Jolteon. There is no situation in which these three Jynx and Jolteon don't come to your Elite Fours in any of the first 4 generations. I don't think. Maybe Gen 4. Maybe Platinum you're not bringing. Let me think. Because Jolteon does well against Aaron, not Bertha. Flinch does not really. Lucian, no. Does okay. So Jolteon, maybe not Gen 4. Jynx, definitely Gen 4. Ice and Electric are the best offensive types in general. Yeah, that's true. Scyther. Scyther's really cool. If you get it early game, it is valuable. It's just, its typing is so bad. You know what? I'm going to put it in fair just because it really is like surprisingly good. With a 500 base stat total, you don't feel bad getting Scyther on your team. It gets no bug moves until generation 4 or whatever, but by that point, 500 base stat total is not that crazy. But Mr. Mime. Generation 1, Mr. Mime is king. After generation 2, Mr. Mime is also king. By the time you get to generation 3, Mr. Mime starts to fall off a little bit. It does get a fairy typing when you get to generation 6, which does bring it back a little bit. I'm going to put it in versatile. Jan rated it S tier in Fire Red and Leaf Green. That's correct. Yes. Objectively speaking, that is the #1 best Pokemon to bring to the Fire Red and Leaf Green Elite Four. Maybe Jynx has it. Jynx and Mr. Mime are 1 and 2, and it's not close. I don't know if you get access to Jynx, but regardless, I'm putting it in versatile because it is that good. It's just, it falls off so dramatically after Gen 2. So I'm putting it there. I've tried bringing it because I saw how well it performed in generation 1 and 2. I've tried bringing it to other Elite Fours because I was like, wow, you know, like maybe it could do something in Platinum. Nope. Oh, maybe it could do something in Black and White. No. Nope. Starmie's up next. A lot of people in chat asking about Starmie. Where does Starmie rank? It's kind of ugly. It doesn't have eyes. Guys, I'm joking. This is one of the best Pokemon in the game. It learns Psychic and Ice Beam and Thunderbolt. I mean, this guy destroys teams. It's gross. This is one of the best Pokemon in the game, in every game. You can bring this thing to every Elite Four in the history of Pokemon, and it will have its moment to shine. It's stomping on Lance in Gen 1. It's stomping on, is it also Lance in Gen 2? Yeah, the champion's Lance, right? It's stomping on Drake in Gen 3. It's stomping on Bertha and Flint in Generation 4 and taking down Garchomp. Generation 5, I guess it has its first like, no, because it takes down Bruno. Gen 2 Lance can be a bit shaky because you only get Blizzard and Icy Wind. Dude, just don't miss Blizzard. Just don't miss Blizzard. You're fine. Seeking. Now, I don't know where you guys want me to put Seeking, but I'm going to put Seeking where it belongs. Fair. It's a good mon. It's pretty good. It's available. It's accessible. It's not the best water type in the game, but it's a water type in the game. Okay? It learns Surf and Ice Beam. It's bulky, so it'll take a hit. I like Seeking a lot. I have been quoted in saying that Seeking is better than Feraligatr, which could be true. Seeking is more available, does 90% of the job. I have unironically brought Seeking to many Elite Fours. And every time that I do, chat's always like, oh, get Seeking in. Like, let's see if it can do something. You know, this will be funny. And then it always overperforms. The only knock against it is exactly what Alan in chat is saying right now, which is, why would I take Seeking over any other water type? Good point. However, in practice, when you get your hands on Seeking, you will not be disappointed. Because you are not expecting excellence. You're expecting it to rot in your box. And it doesn't do that. It does much more. All right. Seadra. Seadra's going in versatile. Seadra's one of those mons, guys. You know, the Kadabras, the Haunters. Seadra. It shouldn't be as good as it is. Its special attack is fair. It's good. And its defense is good. I have brought Seadra, again, to many Elite Fours. And every time it chips in a big way. Just because it has an evolution doesn't mean it needs it, you know? I might drop it. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it next to Seeking. I think that's probably the best comp. I think it's better than Seeking, but the reality is that they both fall off. So, Seeking gets a little better and Seadra gets a little worse. Seeking only gets a little better because its ability becomes usable. Seeking gets outclassed. Not Seeking. Seadra gets outclassed. Kangaskhan. I guess? Kangaskhan does some cool stuff. It's another semi-bulky normal type. Along with the likes of Tauros and Snorlax, which is cool. Its accessibility is minimal. I don't know why I would bring Kangaskhan in over Tauros or Snorlax, barring me not having the other two. Or like any other normal type, honestly. I don't know why I would bring in Kangaskhan. Yeah, I think that this makes sense. I think this is a fair place to put it. It's a good mon if you get it. You're probably not going to get it. And then if you do get it, like it being a good mon means it takes out a couple of things, but pass. Tangela? Tangela is sneaky good. I guess my problem is if I put Tangela here, I'm just ranking it based on its perception and whether or not I think it's overrated or underrated. Because like realistically, it goes here. Tangrowth is a monster. Tangela, kind of bad. I like Tangela a lot. You know, it's got a pretty strong physical bulk. Grass types do okay long term. Until it gets its evolution, though. It's just not, there's no reason to ever use it. Next, Chansey. Chansey, I'm going to put in... I mean, it probably goes in Sweeper. It goes in Sweeper. It probably makes more sense to put it in Versatile, but it's so versatile. It's broken. So broken. I've banned Chansey from my attempts because it's not even fun to use. Chansey will get hit with like... It'll get hit with like Life Orb Focus Blast from Alakazam and take like 30%. Who's that fun for? Really helps in Renegade Platinum though, if anybody was curious. If you get Blissey and Renegade Platinum, bring it to the Elite Four. It checks half the thing. It's sick, but also like not fun. It's fun to do one time. Rye guy. 2 4x weaknesses and a bunch of other weaknesses makes this guy not super usable. I guess obviously there's some stuff. I'm gonna put it in fair, just because Nuzlocke aren't competitive Pokemon. Like, it's not like I'm worried, oh, like he could have HP grass. Like, no, like I know what's gonna be used on it, so I can account for that. It's just not that good. Wheezing. We're gonna be a little rapid fire here. I'm gonna start thinking less and putting Pokemon on more. Wheezing's cool. It's got a nice learn set. Fire Blast or Flamethrower or whatever, and Sludge Bomb, and good defense, and the Levitate ability. I like it. It can do some stuff. It's not a perfect Mon. I have a hard time saying that it's kind of bad. Every time that I got Wheezing for a couple of years, I was like, damn, like this really sucks. I mean, that's just not true. That Mon does not suck. You, on the other hand, you are cheeks. You are not good. You are not good. Hitmonchan, kind of bad. It learns the elemental punches, which gets better in later gens when those aren't special attacks. But no thanks. Hitmonlee's at least a little faster and hits a little harder. I'm going to put it in fair. I think fair is probably a good spot for it, just because it doesn't check a lot of stuff, but the stuff that it does check, it checks well. It also gets stronger as the generations go on, so it maintains its viability. Marowak, what a weird Mon. I'll put it in fair. Pure ground typing. I think your alternative in this generation is Diglett, right? And I think you're better than Diglett sometimes. Water types are so prevalent. I think fair is fine. I'm gonna put it in kind of bad. I'm putting it in kind of bad. Never brought Marowak to the Elite Four. Every time I send it in, it has to take damage before it can deal. That sucks. It's not bulky enough for that. You can be fun with a Sunny Day Chlorophyll Sweep angle. Real viable. It's got a lot of weaknesses, which makes me not want to put it in versatile, and I don't think I'm gonna. But Executor definitely has a niche, and one that could be used across generations. Electro's just fast. It's just speed as a Pokemon. I'm putting in fair just because of its typing, but God, it's awful. It's so bad. Those speedy Volt Switches, though, are valuable. Kingler. Kingler's really fun in ROM hacks, just because its bulk and its water typing make it viable. I feel like I kind of feel the same way about Kingler that I do about Wheezing, except Kingler gets Protect, which is cool in double battles and stuff. I like where I'm putting it. Hypno, I'm gonna put it in fair. Now, I almost put it in kind of bad, but the reality is that Hypno can almost sweep the Elite Four in Generation 1. It does fall off a cliff, like the Grand Canyon, like Niagara Falls, like it is not good. It is not good later, but it has one generation where it might be the best Pokemon in the game. So we'll put it in fair. And when I say that, I mean based on accessibility and viability in the Elite Four. Onyx. Dude, Onyx came to the Elite Four in Generation 5 and was good. I'm putting him kind of bad. I like him, but Gengar? Gengar probably goes in Sweeper, right? Doesn't Gengar get does Gengar get the elemental punches? It gets all three, yeah. Gengar's going in, yeah, I'll put it here. In Generation 1, it's that good. Is it that good in other generations, though? I'm going to put it in Versatile. I don't think it holds up is the problem. I'm also going to rank Haunter because I've been ranking, I ranked Seadra and stuff, and you don't get access to Gengar most of the time. You only get access to Haunter. Haunter I'm going to put in Fair. Very good Mon. Can learn the elemental punches. Does a ton of work in Generation 1, but I like where these two guys are at. Cloyster. Does Cloyster get a versatile ranking from me? Dude, its bulk is just so good. It's min-maxed like crazy. I think it does. I think it does because its offensive typings are so strong. And then its physical bulk just allows it to sit in on those Pokemon that it can deal with. I like it. Muck, I don't like it at all. I'll put it in Fair just so as to not let my personal biases drive my rankings. Because it does have some niches, but like until it becomes a Alolan Muck, God, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's just a poison type. It's so bad. Dugong. Probably Fair. It's a bulky ice type. Why I would use this over Lapras or Walrein is beyond me, but usually it's not strong enough to justify using. It was one of my favorite Pokemon from Generation 1. I really liked it a lot. Yeah, really good in Generation 1 is correct. Yeah, I like where Dugong is right there. I think that makes sense. Usable, not super great. Dodrio, I think I'm going to put in Versatile. 2 immunities, faster than most Pokemon. Access to Drill Peck. I don't think... I think that bringing Dodrio to the Elite Four is not ever really a throw. Like, I feel like it's always valuable. Can do something in, like, any game. I like Dodrio a lot. Farfetch'd is kind of bad. Magneton. That's a versatile boy. Generation 1, disgusting. Generation 2, disgusting. Generation 3, disgusting. And so on and so forth. What a great Pokemon. Great news, too, in being versatile is that by the time that it gets its new evolution, that's like when it might have started to get outclassed. Magnezone freshens right back up. Not that that really matters in Magneton's situation here in ranking, but... Alright. Slowbro. Slowbro probably gets a versatile ranking. It's just so bulky and gets such a good learn set. Shout out Emerald Kaizo for redefining how good that one is. Rapidash goes in Fair. I wish I could put it in kind of bad, but its 500 base stat total is kind of sick. No, I forgot that in vanilla games you don't get until level 40. No, I can justify this. Yeah, that's not a good mod. Golem. I mean, Golem is right next to Rhydon, in my opinion. And Graveler's even worse. Both of those guys, not great. Tentacruel, versatile as heck. Bulky, hits hard enough, feels good. Stronger defense than you'd think it would have. Incredibly high SPDF. Definitely a Tentacruel fan. Weepy boy. Weepy guy's gonna go in Fair here. I don't think its typing is good enough to justify putting it any higher. And obviously Run and Bud balances it to make it better. But this is not a great Pokemon by any stretch of the imagination. It's got a high base stat total, so it can do some stuff. With Chlorophyll, it gets better. But I think that's probably the right place for it. Machamp. It's just so slow. It doesn't have the attributes that a normal slow bulky mon would have. It doesn't have recovery. I guess it has rest. It's not that good, guys. I want it to be good. I want to say Machamp's a great mon. Definitely suffering from Octillery Syndrome. Machoke is kind of bad. I might even put it in terrible. That's objective. We all agree. I'm going to drop it just because you can't get Zam in a ton of games. Just because of its availability. I don't want to put it up there with the guys that like are available and great. That guy's disgusting. And then Kadabra, I'm just going to put right next to it. But Kadabra on S is very funny. No, because Kadabra does fall off once you get past Generation 2. At that point, it's no longer the same guy. But God, is it good in Generation 1. Poliwrath? We'll put it here. Being a physical water and fighting type is awkward for a couple generations, and then I don't love it. Ice Punch is your best coverage move. Waterfall you don't get until late game. I guess you get Drain Punch at one point. Miss me with Poliwrath. Arcanine? I'll put it in versatile. I mean, it's hard to deny that a 555 base stat total mon with Intimidate is usable almost always. It doesn't matter what moves you give it. It'll do work. It's not particularly great at anything, and I'm never really that excited to get it, but it does beat some stuff, and if you get it, you should consider bringing it to your Elite Four. Any complaints with me putting Primeape in kind of bad? You know what? I'll put it in fair. It's fast, I guess. It can punch some rocks, maybe. I'm trying to be. Is Primeape worse than these guys? I feel like Primeape's not as bad as these guys. These guys are awful. Not that I think Primeape's great, but Golduck probably goes in fair. It's a water type. Cloud9's cool, and Radical Red, it's the only weather control that you get, so it's particularly valuable. Persian's so bad. Persian is so bad. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. Dugtrio, I'll put in fair. Being fast is valuable. People like Venomoth. I don't. I know that it can learn Psychic and that you can use it against Bruno in the Elite Four. Gross. I can use 6 other Pokemon to do that. Gross. What a gross Pokemon. And as the generations go on, it gets worse. Parasect? I like it when ROM hacks make Parasect not the worst Pokemon that's ever lived. However, that's just not reality. You know? Grass poison type. Not better than Victreebel. Whatever, I guess. Golbat, not Crobat, Golbat. I guess it's got a cool typing. 4 times resistant to bug, grass, and fighting is neat. Really important niche. That's it. That's it. Vileplume is better Victreebel, I thought. Maybe. I don't know. They're both not great. They both pale in comparison to Venusaur, but you might be right. I could be wrong. Wigglytuff can go in fair. Its bulk in earlier generations is fine, and it gets a fairy type later generations. And it gets like a cool learn set. I'm being generous when I put it in fair. If I get this Pokemon, I'm throwing up and vomiting, okay? I tried. Ninetales, fair. It gets Drought, so that's super valuable. You know what? I'm going to put it in versatile because it gets Drought. If it didn't get Drought, I wouldn't put it up here. But Drought is really good. If you're using it to attack, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, no. Drought is its #1 thing. Clef gets Unaware, pure fairy typing. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put Clef here and I'm going to drop Wigglytuff. Clef has a niche. Wigglytuff I just don't think does. Unaware can be so valuable. Nidoking. Dude, the Nidos were not great. But the poison ground type is valuable. I do like it there in versatile. No, I'm going to put them both in fair, I think. They're just not fast enough or strong enough for me to justify putting them that high. They do learn Earthquake. Actually, no, they are pretty good in Generation 1. I think Nidoking goes higher than Nidoqueen, though. Yeah, because why am I relying on you to take hits? I'd rather just have a little more power. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Sandslash, ironically, does some stuff. It's like if Marowak was usable. Its speed is a little higher is what I mean by that. It doesn't learn like any ground moves, but you can teach it. So there's that. Raichu! Raichu's going to go in fair, which is probably a little too high for it, but it's fast-ish. And it learns electric moves, and electric moves are some of the best Nuzlocke moves in the game. Once upon a eventually, it'll get Volt Switch, and that's usable. So go Raichu. You're doing great stuff, buddy. Arbok. Wow. Gets Intimidate. So that makes it, that immediately to me is fair. And I think that that is where it's going to sit. Poison types suck until generation 6. And then once you get to generation 6, they only kind of don't suck. It's not, I mean, it's close. They're on the verge there. Fearow is like if Dugtrio is slightly worse. I'm going to put it in fair. It does a little bit more than you'd think it would, but you're never excited to get Fearow. You're never like, yes, you know? I'm tempted to almost move it to kind of bad, but its speed and attack kind of aren't going to let me do that. Raticate's interesting. What a great early game encounter. What a great early game mon. Raticate does numbers. I love me a Raticate. Pidgeot, a bulky, normal flying type. That's not what I wanted at all. This Pokemon stinks. You can bring it to like the Elite Four in Generation 1, I guess. I feel like I have to move it up to fair because of that. But God, it is so bad. It is so bad. No, it's abysmal in every other generation. It's just good in that one. Well, not even good. It's viable, which is not saying a ton. Beedrill, because it gets a Mega Evolution, picks up. However, sorry, buddy, kind of bad. Butterfree, Compound Eye Sleep Powder's cool. Yuck. All right, now we get to the big three. Finally, we get to the big three. Blastoise. Versatile. Big, bulky water guy. Learns Ice Beam and Surf. This is right where Blastoise belongs. If you are playing Pokemon and you choose Squirtle, I don't know why you did that. You should choose something else because you get plenty of other water types. Not that they all do what Blastoise does, but like worst case scenario, what? You get something that does 85% of it. You're not going to find 85% of Venusaur or Charizard. Charizard. You know, I say that. And Charizard's so bad, man. I'm putting it in fair. It's so bad. It's so bad. Name one game where Charizard's good. I can't think of one. Pokemon Snap, fair. X and Y because of the Mega. Yeah, they had to give it another evolution. Like it was a middle-staged teenager. Because it is that abysmal. If you're choosing Blastoise, why aren't you choosing Charizard? And if you're choosing Charizard, why aren't you choosing Venusaur? Yeah, Venusaur is the best starter for that generation. It's not even close. Do I want to put it in Sweeper, though? No, I'll probably put it in Versatile just because it's... no, I think that's fair. Well, Leech Seed does numbers. Its typing doesn't have enough resistances. Let me rephrase that. It has too many weaknesses to be a true sweeper, and it's not fast enough to be a sweeper. But this is a Pokemon that can step in and get a KO when you need it. I think that this is my list. I think this is my official list. Did I miss anybody? Is there anybody that I didn't rank? No, I got everybody. All right, I'm gonna save it, and you guys should make your own and then post in the Discord with me. Thanks for coming to my YouTube video. Like and subscribe and comment your favorite Generation 1 Pokemon.